This is a series of fights between Jake and Taravangian. We wanted to explore kind of their interactions because Jake had noticed the difference between fighting others versus Taravangian. So we wanted to look at that a little bit. Uh, as before, I will have the analysis here first, and then I will have an unedited, kind of unanalyzed, broken down version at the end in real time, so that you can watch that and do your own analysis. And I would love to hear your own thoughts in the comments when you're looking through these. It's always great to discuss. So starting out, we're just looking at how things are going, and we've got Jake, which is kind of in a balanced but forward stance with how they're leaning a little bit. Swords out forward. Taravangian is leaning backwards, so he looks like he's leaning forward. This is where I think you have to look at the combination of the feet and the body to really understand the stance, because on first blush, this is a forward lean, right? From top of the head to the back. But in reality, it's kind of like a half triangle here. You've got the lean back, but then the torso is leaning forward. So in this case, based off that and their sword position, Jake's is a little bit more extended than Taravangian's. So I would say that right now, Taravangian starts off these fights on the defense, and Jake is on the offense. And Taravangian is probably looking at somewhere up here for a target. Jake as well is probably looking up high. So both those targets, although right here, both of them in their guts, they may be able to find. Okay, so really quick exchange here. And I think Taravangian does a great job of having a block prepared. As soon as Jake steps in for that strike, it's an immediate reaction to push aside the blade. That back lean already coming in helps keep things there. The offhand is up and ready. Okay. The only thing is right here. This is a great extension from Jake, but it's a single kind of strike because this tip is going to fall all the way down afterwards. Okay. And then we're going to get a reset. Quick disengage. Okay. So here's another thing. So I think Taravangian has really good form right now. Okay. This is a really solid stance. The offhand is here. The sword is up. Like a lot of really strong defensive potential. But we're going to watch the footwork for a second. Okay. This advance is really explosive. Okay, but it's a bit of a hop. You can see that you see that like this foot leaves first, and this one in a normal kind of explosive start, you want to push off with the back foot, and then let your front foot needs to go first, followed by the push, and then your front foot kind of catches you. If we watch really closely, the back foot comes up first, the front foot is here, and then it lands, and then the back foot there. That's why it's kind of like a hop, um, right? But it's very explosive, which is great. Okay. See how this secondary step. Okay, so we had a little bit of a hop, but then in this foot we have the back, this foot and this foot, and then Taravangian is going to move it backwards, right? The front foot picks up first, right here, with the push coming from the front leg. There's that back step, and that step, that retreat backward was much more level, much more controlled than a hop, which is great. That's the kind of footwork you want to see. Coming back to Jake, coming in, he's positioning himself as the aggressor here. Taravangian's on the defense. Right. Okay, then Taravangian's hopping again. Oh. And this is where I think one of Jake's strengths is that he plays to the outside line. What I mean by that is you can see that Taravangian has a line, and if you could see this front facing, you would have like the fencer's head, you'd have the fencer's torso here, and the center line is this line down the middle. Taravangian is playing to this line, whereas Jake is playing to the outside lines, which are here and here. So he tends to come in from the outside, from one side or the other, whereas Taravangian is controlling that center line where the target is. So as we see in this quick exchange, Jake's sword is on the outside line, Taravangian's on the inside line, and as Taravangian kind of hops into play, Jake's sword is going to come up from the outside in. You can even tell, like right there, his sword is on the outside of that offhand and straight into the side, right? So from the outside in, which is great. And if his offhand can kind of swat away that blade, right, you can see that it's actually got very close. If it wasn't for a bit of a retreat lean back from Jake, he probably would have gotten a double. Okay. Stepping back in. Okay, conversing. See, and this is a great thing right now. Jake is on the inside line. Taravangian is also on the, both of them are kind of aiming towards each other's torsos right now. Taravangian does really well to engage that offhand to push the sword out. And then the sword should have a free shot in if Taravangian can react fast enough. Okay. But he focuses on maintaining control of the blade, when in reality that offhand here should free up the sword to quickly react there for that combo. Okay. They're trying to maintain control. Come down. See, that's a great reaction from Taravangian. Taravangian steps in, he follows the blade, right? His blade is maintaining contact with Jake's sword right here. He closes distance, he's still following it, still maintaining that pressure, and now that he's in close range and now his sword is kind of impeded by how close they are, down comes the offhand, maintaining freedom, all right, and then frees up the blade to get that strike, all the while maintaining full control of Jake's sword. I think that's really good. And so for Jake to see something like that, if we could have gone maybe into a refused stance to pull that sword well clear far and gone away from Taravangian, he might have been able to keep his sword free and take advantage of the press from coming from Taravangian. Right? Okay, let's watch a couple. Quick exchanges. Conversation happening. Strike again. Got a staple. Okay, so let's look at that just quickly again. So far what we are seeing, a pattern with Jake, is that it's single strikes. There's not a lot of multiple attacks so far, which means an extension and then a reset. I would love to see more multiple attacks because they can create opportunities. So we have a single strike, we have a block, all right, and then we come in and get that strike. That is a great block attack combo from Taravangian to block the strike. The strike immediately followed, combined with footwork, led to a staple. Okay. Okay, again we're playing to that outside line again. With Jake's height and size, he has the ability to stay outside of everyone's space a lot. But as Taravangian comes in, this offhand catches the blade, and then this sword is coming to the outside at an angle that makes it difficult for Taravangian to catch with his offhand, which Taravangian is doing a great job of keeping his offhand right where it's supposed to, but that outside height and that outside angle makes for a good quick strike, right? Jockeying, conversing, discussing, right? Nice. Again, we're seeing a lot of these. We're seeing the differences between staying to the outside line and the inside line again with these. Okay, so we're here conversing. Jake comes in and strikes. Taravangian gets an offhand control of it. Right. This is a great extension from Jake, but having control of it with the offhand frees up the sword to then respond. See, and I wish as well that Jake's sword wasn't coming all the way down here after every one of these blocks. Like it should come down maybe halfway. It should come back into a position that can defend, because right now Taravangian is coming in with pressure and control. And I love that Taravangian is maintaining that constant pressure on Jake's sword. That's where I think having that sword come backwards, not down, can be really beneficial to Jake and to others. If your sword is getting captured all the time, it means your sword is staying too close to your opponent. But this response and this full control block into the strike, into that lean right there, maintaining that distance was really great on Taravangian's part. All right. Okay, we're stepping in. Again, a quick lane, quick block attack combo from Taravangian. Having control of Jake's sword lends itself to an opportunity. Very nice. Very quick strike, taking advantage. Awesome. Very quick. That was the strength of kind of, again, the outside line. So we come in, a quick disengage from Jake from the outside to the inside line to land that. And Taravangian's slowly trying to retreat, but isn't able to get that his hand up and sword in before Jake can get that strike. So again, a really great, well-timed strike from Jake's part at a really strong angle, lend itself to that kill. We're back in. Back in. Again, a flappy slap. And we refight. Okay, so here's one again. If we understand what our opponent might be thinking, okay. So right now, Taravangian with his backwards defensive stance, even though his body is like up, he's very defensive. His offhand is here, his sword is out, high defensive potential, range is high. He's got given himself as much time as possible to address Jake's blade as it comes in, right? So Taravangian is essentially saying, I'm waiting for your strike. I'm prepared. This should clue us in that when we strike, it's an opponent who's waiting for us to strike. It's kind of like that samurai mentality of like, okay, we have to be prepared for that counter. It's coming. Really good block, gets the offhand in, okay, and back it comes for that strike in. So again, Taravangian was waiting for it, so we need to be prepared with some form of reaction to strike. This is where an attack block combo can be really helpful to attack, block as we return back to his position of safety, rather than just having the strike and then fully extending. I do appreciate that Jake's sword stayed high, engaged in the fight, rather than coming way down, because that just makes it that much easier. It has the sword in play more often, more often than not. Okay. Again, another outside line strike from Jake. Okay, pushed in. That was good. Another strike in, well timed. Like, we're still seeing that pattern with Jake, that it's single strikes, single strikes. We're seeing with Taravangian, block attack combos are really strong. Nice, good pressure. Nice disengage. Let's look at that. That was a really nice disengage from Jake. Okay, so we're here. Taravangian comes down. Jake's point is nice on line. You see that quick. So Taravangian is trying to take Jake's blade by coming up and over. Jake disengages, backs up a little bit, and strikes in. Really great use of, and well-timed disengage can be really beneficial when suddenly your opponent goes on the offensive. So definitely something to watch out for. Got a few more fights. Okay, jockeying for position, strike, got the hand, strike, reset, and they got the arm. Take control of the blade, good defense. Well angled from Taravangian. Okay, well played through. Okay, so how that kind of went down is we get a strike. We get what was supposed to be kind of a block, right? It blocks on the outside. So Taravangian is coming in from the outside. Jake gets the block, but then Taravangian immediately drives his sword down, as well as Jake kind of tips it down, right? This slides Taravangian's sword down so that he has his fort, his strongest part of his blade, on Jake's weakest part of the blade, the foible. So you see here, there's the tip, there's the hilt. So Taravangian has the most strength against the weakest part of the blade. His sword is way over here, and he maintains control as he drives it in. I think that ability to kind of angle it in, and even though he's sliding back up to the fort, it's too late. So that combo there to take advantage of those angles was fantastic. So between the two, great uses of block attack combos from Taravangian, great strikes and well-timed moments from Jake using the outside line to get in at those key moments. I would love to see Taravangian have that stronger like footwork rather than hopping. I'd love to see Jake having more multiple attacks coming in when he's striking and making sure the blade is in there. But overall, like I was telling these two last night, that because Taravangian is such an that center line fighter and Jake is on the outside, that's kind of like opposites, which could go either way, one way or the other. And so really good fighting overall.
I definitely felt it here though.
It just felt like we.
Okay, you're good then. That definitely would stay full. Okay. Whew. Done. Whew. Leg?
Comfy?
Yeah.
You still?
No. Got it. Whew. Good. And that was a slap, so you got me. Whew. You got it still. Whew. That was my jacket still. That was my hand. Okay. Whew.
Is that good?
Yeah. Whew, barely, yeah. Arm. Got it.
All right, 2 more.
Yeah. Arm. Got it. Whew.